You're listening to the Mindful Mama podcast, episode number 299. Today, we're talking about the feeling of I'm still losing it, even though I know how I should respond. Welcome to the Mindful Mama podcast, now with over 1 million downloads. Here, it's about becoming a less irritable, more joyful parent. At Mindful Mama, we know that you cannot give what you do not have. And when you've calm and peace within, then you can give it to your children. I'm your host, Hunter Clark Fields, Mindful Mama Mentor. I help smart, thoughtful parents stay calm so they can have strong, connected relationships with their children. I've been practicing mindfulness for over 20 years. I'm the creator of Mindful Parenting, and I'm the author of Raising Good Humans, a mindful guide to breaking the cycle of reactive parenting and raising kind, confident kids. Welcome back to the Mindful Mama podcast. So glad you are here. This is a Mindful Parenting Bite. Going to be talking to you about some mindful parenting ideas that are short, little bite that you can take in a short amount of time. And this one is an important one. And we're going to talk about the idea today, that feeling of I'm still losing it, like I'm yelling, I'm shouting, I'm getting so frustrated, even though I know how I should respond. So you may be the kind of person, you may have a stack of parenting books, you may know the best way to respond, but you're still losing it. You're frustrated and, it feels like this impossible task. So I don't know if you've been there, but this was me. Totally. So when I was a young mom, when Maggie was like 2, I would get so frustrated because I was learning a bunch of things. I was learning how I should respond. I was starting to learn about my unskillful language and how I should respond. And I was learning that I shouldn't be, yelling. And I didn't want to be yelling and using threats. And I was so frustrated because I learned this, like, just say this or just respond this way from so many parenting coaches who had some really great advice. And my problem was that I just couldn't implement that advice when I was losing it. I just couldn't respond the way I wanted to respond. Like I had these intentions and then it flew completely out the window. So if this has been your experience, if you can relate to this is the episode for you. So it's an incredibly frustrating experience because for a lot of us, you're a podcast listeners we tend to be highly educated. Like, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, like I got the good grades. I got, honor roll in high school. I got a good GPA in college. I went to grad school. I could do a lot of things. And then when I was in this position with my child where I knew how I wanted to respond, I just couldn't do it. It was so, so frustrating. And I've worked with people in the Mindful Parenting membership, people who are early childhood educators. They may teach preschool and they're so frustrated because they really, really know how they should respond. And even they can't do it. They're having all this frustration. So in the years of study and trainings I've had since then, and there's a lot, let me tell you, I learned this really, really vital piece of information, and that is this. Our stress response starts in our amygdala, which is like they're like these little almond shaped clusters in our brain, in midbrain in our brainstem, which they are like the alarm bells of the brain. So when you're losing it, it is that stress response. It starts in the amygdala. And so even though you know how you should respond and what you should say, the amygdala quite literally cuts off access, bypasses the prefrontal cortex, which is the area of your brain behind your forehead, the area where all your problem solving ability, your higher order thinking, your verbal ability, your empathy originate. Like, so all of those things that you need and want to draw on in these difficult moments with your kids, all of these things are originate in the prefrontal cortex area of the brain, and the amygdala, the stress response, it's like they call it an amygdala hijack because it literally bypasses your thinking brain when you're losing it and when you're in this stress response. Ugh, right? Oh my gosh. So this is just our biology. This is just the biology of the stress response. So when people tell you, you should respond this way or just calm down. I hate when people say calm down. We should really try not to say calm down to our kids because when people say it to us, it's like, oh, really? That's helpful. Thanks a lot. So when people tell you you should respond this way, it's often as good as useless when you're in that stress response because you literally cannot access that information quite literally. And so I also learned that while it takes more than just deep breaths, we can all shift and change this. So, this is a challenge and an opportunity. We can all shift and change this. We can all reduce our stress response and build a muscle of non reactivity. That's what we really need, right? To be able to make that pause, right? Everyone says, oh, just pause first, right? Like, well, how do you do that? So, we need to build the muscle of non reactivity. We have to practice it in other moments daily. Like, literally, we have to practice it daily so that you can lower your reactivity. So that's what mindfulness does. It literally helps us to reduce our reactivity overall in our life. It gives us this ability, and I think of it as a muscle, the non reactivity muscle, where, it gives us this space to be able to choose our next response rather than just be on autopilot or driven by reactiveness, right? And you don't have to be a magical, sparkly mindfulness unicorn for it to happen. With the right method, the guidance, accountability, anybody can do it. And I really, really, really mean that. So when we lower that stress overall, then we can use the whole brain, including the prefrontal cortex, and finally choose how we want to respond rather than being in that reactive state, which is, let's face it, when we are at our worst in parenting. So if you want to know more, this is about the mindful parenting method. This is what we do in mindful parenting is we start in the calm method. We start with habits that steady the heart, the mind, and the nervous system and build that muscle of lowered reactivity. Then we also pair that with time-tested, research-proven, incredible, skillful communication to listen, express, and resolve problems based on needs. So if you want to know more about it, you can get the Mindful Parenting Roadmap and learn more about the Mindful Parenting Method. There is a link to check it out at mindfulmamamentor.com/stop yelling. mindfulmamamentor.com/stop yelling is an awesome free resource. There's a video with my top 2 mind body tools to help us in those moments when we really are losing it and to build that muscle overall. And you get the Mindful Parenting Roadmap, and it's all for free for you there. So get started with that. But I want to know, has this been helpful? This is a little mindful parenting bite to help us understand this feeling of I'm still losing it, even though I know how I should respond. If you are knowing how you should respond, you've got a lot of things to say. That's great. That's all well and good, but it's worthless unless we take care of our stress response. We have to start to build that non-reactive muscle. So let's do it. Let's go build some muscle, some mindfulness muscle. Oh, yeah. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it inspires you to take action, get started. Let me know at Instagram. I'm at Mindful Mama Mentor. Let me know if this Little Bite episode has helped, and I would love to know what you think. And until next time, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for being part of the revolution, and I'm so glad to connect with you, and I can't wait to do this again. So we'll talk soon, okay? Thanks so much. Namaste.
Well, it was yelling at my kids and feeling like there has to be another way to be able to see, okay, my self-care, prioritizing some time for me to just relax and to de-stress a little bit. That was huge. Like that switch of, oh, it's not what I need to learn to get my kids to listen. It's that I need to have something inside of me to give to them. So I think your quote, you cannot give what you do not have, sticks with me over and over. They are acting out in a way that's reflecting a need that they have. The way I talk to them, if it is coming from a mom who is calm and who has had time to reflect inwards. My speech to them is going to be so much more loving. You need to take this course because your children won't look at that time that you're taking for yourself as like, that's taking time mommy's getting away from me during that time. It's that she is strengthening herself and building herself up to be able to respond better to me. All of those things go hand in hand and has just kind of made like a ripple effect in our family, and it's been transformative for us.
I'd say definitely do it. It's really helpful. It will change your relationship with your kids for the better. It will help you communicate better. And just, I'd say communicate better as a person, as a wife, as a spouse. It's been really a positive influence in our lives. So definitely do it.
I'd say definitely do it. It's so worth it. The money really is inconsequential when you get so much benefit from being a better parent to your children and feeling like you're connecting more with them and not feeling like you're yelling all the time or you're like, why isn't things working? I would say definitely do it. It's so worth it. It'll change you.
No matter what age someone's child is, it's a great opportunity for personal growth and it's a great investment in someone's family. I'm very thankful I had this.
You can continue in your old habits that aren't working, or you can learn some new tools and gain some perspective to shift everything in your parenting.
Are you frustrated by parenting? Do you listen to the experts and try all the tips and strategies, but you're just not seeing the results that you want? Or are you lost as to where to start? Does it all seem so overwhelming with too much to learn? Are you yearning for a community of people who get it, who also don't want to threaten and punish to create cooperation? Hi, I'm Hunter Clark-Fields, and if you answered yes to any of these questions, I want you to seriously consider the Mindful Parenting membership. You'll be joining hundreds of members who have discovered the path of mindful parenting and now have confidence and clarity in their parenting. This isn't just another parenting class. This is an opportunity to really discover your unique, lasting relationship, not only with your children, but with yourself. It will translate into lasting, connected relationships, not only with your children, but your partner too. Let me change your life. Go to mindfulparentingcourse.com to add your name to the waitlist, so you will be the first to be notified when I open the membership for enrollment. I look forward to seeing you on the inside. mindfulparentingcourse.com.